A is for Adam, Part 2, Chapter 3, Eve. He awoke hours later, wrapped warmly in a kangaroo pelt blanket, and a recently deceased bunny under his head as a pillow. He should have been comfortable, for this was his preferred way of sleeping. However, he was not. Something didn't feel right. For one, he was way out in the middle of the garden, probably lost. Who covered him up? This also didn't feel like his usual bunny, since he'd had his bunny pillow for a long time, and he'd broken it in exactly the way he liked it. This bunny seemed too new, too stiff, which made his head cock at a strange angle, giving him a crick in his neck. Another thing bothering him was an annoying pain in his side. He reached down, touching where the sensation and pain was. This didn't feel right at all. Flinging aside the pelt, he got a good look at his body. What the heck? A huge gash in his side was dripping blood onto the dirt. Kidney thieves, he thought, and plunged his hand inside the opening. Everything seemed fine, pretty much. His heart was still there, his lungs were still there, although he could have figured that out without feeling them, since he was breathing. He reached all the way round, straining his elbow as he did so, and felt for his kidneys. 1, 2, both there. Well, that was a relief. Although he knew he could have lived with just one kidney, he preferred having both of them, in case something came up. Pulling his arm back, his hand noticed something on the way out, or rather, the lack of something. He was missing a rib. There it was, the portion where it was broken off, sticking out like a snapped tree limb. "Hey, would you mind giving me back the covers?" asked a sweet-sounding voice. "I'm freezing over here." Someone was lying right next to him. How did he not notice that before? Probably the whole gash pain thing was making it hard to pay attention to anything else. This was the first person he'd ever met beside himself. "Steve?" Adam asked. "Eve," the person answered. "Ha-ha, hooray, praise Yahweh. Our Creator has finally given me a companion." He suddenly looked remorseful. "Sorry, I've had no time to clean the place up. I wasn't expecting company." "That's all right," Eve responded. "I mean, the world is a rather large place for just one person to keep tidy." His eyes fell to her chest. "Yeah, I suppose it is," he said distractedly. Can I help you?" Eve asked. "Please excuse my eyes. They have a mind of their own." "Quite all. What are those?" he asked excitedly. "Those are boobies. They are our Creator's gift to you." "Do they hurt?" "No, not really. They just add a little weight to my front side is all." "Does that hurt?" she asked, pointing to his thing that he had yet to name. He thought of calling it a glump, but he wasn't sure. Sometimes, especially when it got a little too cold, it felt like a plink. "No. Does yours?" he asked, looking down at his midsection. "Oh, pardon me, where is my fig leaf?" She pointed to her own crotch area. "I borrowed yours. Sorry for not asking, but I thought you were dead. You weren't responding, and you were bleeding heavily." "No problem. I've several of them back at the house. But I wasn't dead. I was only what I call completely wasted. Do yourself a favour and stay away from those things that look like blueberries, because they aren't blueberries." "I don't even know what blueberries are, so it'll be hard for me to stay away from things that look like them but aren't them." "Don't worry, I'll show you around. Now, you still haven't answered my question." "Which was?" she asked. "Does your glump hurt?" "I don't have one," she answered, turning 6 shades of red. "What do you mean you don't have one?" he asked. She moved the fig leaf aside a little, so he could see what was down there. He'd seen those before in other animals. He'd often thought of putting his thing in them, after watching some animals do it, but it embarrassed him, as he felt he didn't measure up. But here was one he may get into after some persuasion, and perhaps a few cups of fermented grape juice. "I'm sorry, are you disappointed?" she asked. "Oh no, not at all," he said, turning 7 shades of red. "I like the fact that you have one of those. I call them squash blossoms." "That's kind of cute," she said, rolling her eyes. "Say, what do I call you anyway?" he asked. "As I have said, you can call me Eve," she said. "Yes, but what are you? One who is almost like me, yet different." "I am called woman, meaning from man." The Creator took your rib and used it to make me. What? He asked. Yeah, sounds kind of like witchery to me, but who are we to question? Anyhow, I have come from you, and am not original. Therefore I will always be less than you and subservient to you. My arse. If I ever begin acting autonomous or start speaking my mind, it's imperative you strike me down with a switch, but no larger than your thumb. She looked down at his crotch again. Or your glump. Sounds like a sweet deal, he answered. It is, she answered. Enjoy it while you can. In thousands of years, this argument will change. Yeah, I doubt it. Chapter 4. Tiptoe Through the Garden. So, Riblet, here is the garden, said Adam. I think it's pretty nice. Bountiful bounties and plentiful plenties and all that. It's Eve, Eve insisted. Please don't call me Riblet. But it's cute, Adam said, just like you. Flattery will get you nowhere with me. Just remember Eve, not Riblet. I don't call you dirt. Hey, now. I'm very sensitive about that. So I'm made of dirt. So what? You can call me Clay if you like. That sounds more like a name to me. But please don't call me Dirt. In fact, he said, Adam would be preferable. What are you doing? Eve was carrying words in the sand with a stick. Adam and Eve forever. Seriously, he asked, already with the sappy stuff? She grabbed him painfully by the upper arm, her nails digging into his flesh. Listen, you little twerp. I don't like this any more than you do. There I was, floating around in the ether, and suddenly God yanks a rib out of some schmuck and uses it to turn me into his companion. Someone to keep him company for all eternity. That's my sole job. I'll never be a doctor or a lawyer or an executive at a big corporation with a nice big office on the top floor with a view. I'll just be a sidekick. I'm lucky I even got a name. Believe me, first opportunity I get to bury my way out of your life, I'm taking it. Till then, it's Adam and Eve forever. Get it? Wow, I'm sorry. Here. Adam handed her a slice of pumpkin, which she chewed for a brief second, then spat out. Blech! That's horrible. What are you trying to do? Poison me? Poison you? My only companion till the end of time? No way. I just kind of wanted a second opinion on this lousy fruit. Well, it's terrible. Agreed. But look what I did. He pointed over to another pumpkin sitting in the garden, minding its own business. A crude face was carved into it. I don't get it, she said. What's not to get? It's art. What's art? She asked. A concept I invented. It's where you create something out of something else. That's blasphemy, Eve scolded. Only God can create something out of something else. Well, obviously that's not true, he said. I mean, just look at this face. He pointed to the pumpkin again. Anyway, God created something out of nothing, like the universe. But it was something useful. Art is really not useful at all. So if it's not useful, why do you do it? It's meant to make people happy, or sad, or just evoke any kind of emotion at all. Maybe in that way it is useful. Well, I think it's dumb. I think it'll catch on, said Adam. Catch on with whom? She asked. I don't know. Maybe there'll be other people someday. I have ribs to spare. Anyway, I think art is cool. Especially this, jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lantern? Yeah, I think it sounds Irish, don't you? What's Irish? She asked. Never mind. Personally, I think it's a waste of food, said Eve. So, he answered, what else are we going to do with it? Besides, is wasting food really all that bad? I'm not sure, she said. I guess I don't know the difference between good and bad. Yes, he said, if only there was a way to know the difference between good and bad. Yes, she said, if only. Look, things here aren't so terrible. Plenty of delicious things to eat, pumpkin aside. Lots of privacy. I mean, lots of privacy. And just look around you. She did. Breathtaking, huh? I guess I could do worse. It is nice. This is all ours, to do with as we please. Look, I know it was probably cool being formless, floating around in the ether, but you're here now. Let's make the best of it. Come on, what do you say? Adam and Eve for ever, she said, somewhat bashfully. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad here in the long run. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers and patrons. See you next week.
Bye bye.